Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Oh, so I'm getting to start off the show. Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Joe.
Oh.
Oh, it's fun.
I figured, hey, you've been here long enough. I might as well throw you in the fire. Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Kind of appropriate considering his background.
Yep.
How's
everybody doing?
And I figured out how to make myself disappear, too, so.
Ain't that fun?
Oh, I did that one time. Okay. I actually learned, I took a still of my chair sitting here with the background and everything and used it as my green screen background and just kept turning the opacity up and it looked like I was beamed out.
Yeah. I've got, unfortunately, I've got a, not unfortunately, I have a Jedi robe, but unfortunately is a little bit too dark for green screen. And I thought seriously about sitting here with the hood pulled down and just being totally out of picture. I've even got a piece of spare Kelly green that I could throw over the chair, so that when I get up and leave the room, the chair's not visible either.
Mm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, says deer in the headlights, Joe.
Uh, do me a favor and don't do that to Rich.
What?
Unexpectedly, without warning, have him pop up to start the show.
Because he'll be absolutely paying no attention. That'd be the reason I do it.
No. Um,
I pay plenty of attention.
He's busy making cue cards right now.
Well, I'm
the
surprised.
check is in the mail, right?
I'm surprised we're on Facebook. I got another strike again today.
About what?
Yeah, but you peeled it.
I peeled it and it removed, the ban. It was a guy. Somebody has this black lab and uses the voice animated, the text to speech thing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it's just the dog sitting on the couch telling a story about eating some fresh veggies. And then he got the rumblies, so he had to go outside.
Uh-huh.
And this is all it showed was the dog on there going in front of his owner, walking back and forth like, hey, I got to go outside. Then he walks him, shows the dog start to squat to do the business. And, the camera cuts away, then comes back. Nudity and sexual violence.
For
Oh my!
a dog.
Taking a dump.
For the love of God, there was a show on ABC back in the 90s, I believe, that in their opening credits showed a dog taking a dump.
Yeah. America's Funniest Home Videos.
Spin City with Michael J. Fox.
Oh, Spin City. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, but they're not on Facebook.
I
don't.
I hope I at least get a human review to where it's like, okay, we got to fix that. What I think it is somebody is being an asshole and reporting me.
Yes.
Why would anyone do
I wouldn't know
that?
why anyone would want to be an asshole and report you on multiple occasions.
Mhm.
Like, throwing people under the bus at the beginning of the show.
Well, it happened when I was telling you about Elena's account getting hacked. And, I didn't fall for their shit.
Yeah.
And just right after that, I get the sexual nudity and sexual violence on just a video that was up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did it again today to Jeff Stringer got hit.
Mm-hmm.
And, I cussed him out in Messenger, and his account's been deleted.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of, Facebook, instead of, just blocking the account from posting or anything,
Mm-hmm.
they just delete the account now when you get hacked.
Mhm.
And
Well,
you got to start a new one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
oh, Carl. Don.
that's just really over the top right there.
Maybe. Depends on what they did to your account.
Yeah.
Well, that's two accounts pulling the same stunt. So, but it comes. The opening message is, "Hey, yo, no, what's yo and then the hashtag for number?
Oh,
When you get those, I'm not even going to reply to them anymore.
Well,
Because
I got one that
They
I
want
think
your phone
is-
number and your Gmail account so they can get all your phone hacking information.
Yeah.
Well, what they do is they enter the number into Facebook and try to, and then say, once
Trying to take over your account.
they try to take over your account.
Well, I got one that I think is a phishing message. Somebody sent me, "Look who died in an accident. I think you know him. So sorry." Squalling emoji, and then it's got a TikTok HTTP.
Mm.
Yeah, whenever you get a message that starts like that, just hit delete.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's coming from people that you're interacting with.
Like
Yeah.
I got one from Ann Robards, who runs the art room at ChataCon and LibertyCon. She's the art show director. And I'm like, that's odd. At first I said, "Hey, what's your phone number?" And I figured she wanted to call me about fixing something. Like, "Hey, we need to go clean out the
Storage room.
storage
or whatever.
building." Yeah, something like that. Which I have volunteered to do on multiple occasions. And it's they've still got some Windows XP computers sitting in the storage building. So,
Oh,
Hey.
man.
stash those. They're priceless. The last working system of Windows.
That's what I was about to say. Wasn't that their best system they had?
Hey, I've still got a laptop and a desktop that are set to do not update so that I can keep those things.
Yeah, I like the XP.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a lot of programs that won't work on anything newer than XP. But I think that was because it went on to 64-bit. So
my mom had still has it, is a sewing machine that does stitching patterns. And you can download custom stitching patterns for it. But it only runs on Windows XP.
I don't even think XP will connect to the internet anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
no,
Too many-
that's right.
But you really shouldn't. It is
Very
almost
susceptible
years
to be-
past end of life.
But
So
what's funny is
no security patches in like
Yeah.
10 years.
And here's what's funny. Taking the dogs to the vet, they've got their little network in their veterinary clinic. Guess what it runs on?
XP.
Well,
Well,
you know,
it's Windows XP Business or something like that.
Yeah.
now did you notice here in the last 2 or 3 years, all the ATMs are changing their operating system? The main company that designs and builds and sells the teller machines used XP. And it's
What was the? You guys can help me out on this one. There was a company that used to do video games, and they did special effects video, but they also do cash registers, point of sale cash registers. And interestingly enough, if you're standing there, there's a lot of convenience stores that use these particular cash registers. That if you go in there and people start punching buttons and doing credit card noises, the noise that basically lets you know that your credit card went through is like a noise from one of their video games that you found a treasure or won, or got a power up or something like that, because they have a license for that particular electronic noise, so they put it in all their. And it's kind of like, it's funny because you'll go into a convenience store to buy something, and also you're it's.
Well, hey, if you already got the license for it, I mean, what the hell? Might as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you might as
really.
well use it.
well, what about? Hey, at least it's better than the sound of the old Walmarts. Bam, 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 bam. Take your damn card out. Come on.
You know, you need to get those noises as ringtones on your cell phones and just stand in line at Walmart and watch people. What?
There's so many things you could do.
Rich is holding his eyes like, don't give me any ideas.
Exactly. Well, don't give me any ideas, but get just a little board that's got a little itty bitty speaker on it, stuff like that. While you're up there leaning, adhere it to the bottom of the little check writing pad, and then just have a little remote control that every time you come in, you can hit that, and all of a sudden you just have like 6 of them just start making this sound.
Credit card deleted. What? This is a stolen credit card. Law enforcement has been notified.
Well, at least it isn't like the old ATMs that would take the credit card completely into the machine.
Oh
wouldn't
yeah,
give it back.
yeah. Wouldn't give it back. Yeah.
I had
Your
that
account is overdrawn.
I had that happen to me at DragonCon one year. Well, I was over at one of the buildings there using a Bank of America teller, and it kept my card. And I'm like,
Congratulations, fella.
I just got back from Iraq. I've got $20,000 in my bank account. I'm not overdrawn. So fortunately, I walked back over there. Fortunately, they were open later, so I walked back in and go, your ATM just ate my card. Were you overdrawn? No. Definitely not.
Well, now it's got the chip reader that locks it and will not turn it loose until the account's done. I had that happen to me when I was making a deposit one time.
My new phone has got a bunch of those pay apps that you can put money. You can attach it to your bank account, and whatever, and just use your phone to RFID the thing or whatever. And I'm not so sure I'm real thrilled about that.
Hey, people at work do that all the time. I mean, instead of putting their card in the vending machines, they'll just tap their phone up there. Yeah, and I'm going, you seriously think that's a good idea to walk around with your bank information in the phone?
You've got it on your laptop. Everything's online nowadays, and it's all insured. It's all insured, so it's really
there's so many different places it's saved anymore anyway, and there are some advantages to it. So, like with Apple Pay, as an example, if I use Apple Pay at a store, it's not, even though I had to input my debit card information, that's just so Apple knows where to take the money from. They're actually using a totally separate card number that's going to the store. So the store doesn't even ever see my actual card number.
It's kind of like those shopping carts on your on internet windows.
Well, out at Hamilton Place, they had these Coke machines that take credit cards. When that first started, I will never use my debit card or credit card to buy anything out of a vending machine again. I bought my wife a Dr. Pepper and got me a Mountain Dew.
Yeah, and they usually put holes on cards that you use on vending machines like that.
Well, it was, this was back when drinks were $1.75.
Yeah.
Then they hit me with a $5 convenience fee for using that through
a Coke machine.
The Coke machine. I said, yeah, that'll never happen again.
They've got the same thing on the vending machines at work now, and they have refused to take actual cash since they put the card readers on the vending machines. The only way, if you got a pocket full of quarters, you might be able to get a $1 bologna sandwich for $5 worth of quarters if it doesn't go, oops, that's too many coins. We can't take that. And thank you for the offering. That will go to Brother Feelgood over here. You're not getting your quarters back.
Get you an arc welder.
And
spot weld the lock on the vending machine, and that will solve that problem. Most Ricky Dick.
Yeah,
actually, going to the storeroom where the mechanics get their tools and getting a 20-pound sledgehammer would solve a lot of problems.
We had when we were in National Guard, the vendor that did the machines was just being a real jerk because he knew he had a government contract. Okay. And he wasn't coming and refilling them on a regular basis and just ridiculous. Wouldn't change them out to what he was putting crap in. It was all the crap he couldn't sell anywhere else. He was putting in the National Guard machines.
Mm-hmm.
Unplugged them, took them back into the supply room, locked them up. Called his boss, said, hey, either come down here and get these machines or we're scrapping them. Oh, you can't do that. Watch us.
There was a pop machine at Firestone Tire Repair.
Hey, Kerry.
And I was getting tire change on my work truck, and well, see how much a pop is. So I hit the button. It said like $2.25. Look at my wallet. I got $1.25. Shit. Yeah, it takes card, so I'll just use that. And normally on most of the machines around here, they'll do like a 10-cent, 20-cent upcharge to cover the processing fee. I run it, charge me $1.75. That shouldn't be right. Buy a second pop, different one. Just figuring, okay, maybe Mountain Dew screwed up. Select Pepsi, $1.75. Went up to the counter. I'm like, you guys got an issue with the pop machine. What's the issue? You're losing money. What do you mean? It's cheaper for me to use my card than cash. He goes, what?
Yeah. We had one of the vending machines at work for a gloriously brief period. You would buy a $2.25 sandwich, and it would give you $5 change in quarters. You just put in a couple of dollar bills, get $5 worth of quarters back. That machine was empty in one day.
Had a machine when I worked for Comcast, or one of their subcontractors rather, bought a bottle of water one morning. It dispenses. I grab it, and all of a sudden I hear, dun-dun-dun-dun. The hell? Turn around and look. There's a second bottle. Oh, okay. Pull that one out as the third one drops, and then the fourth, and then it just got stuck and decided to keep vending.
Now, we used to have a $5 bill changer. We would do dollars and $5 bills. And apparently, the fellow that refilled the machine the last time put the nickels in the quarter bin and the quarters in the nickel bin. So you'd get, instead of the correct change for a $5 bill with, say, 50 cents worth of quarters or 50 cents worth of nickels, it would swap it over. You got buku of quarters and just a few nickels. And I think that guy never came back to our factory again. I think he either got laid off or redirected someplace elsewhere.
Well, I used to own the bubblegum machines, quarter bubblegum machines.
Uh-huh.
I had 10 of them, spread out in the area around the house, in some businesses. And I mainly go to mom and pop stores because they're easier to deal with.
Hmm.
And I had a deal with them. I would split it 50-50. Only owned them 3 months. And I would service them every month. And on the third month, this one guy says, when I handed him like $400 in quarters, he goes, "How much do you want for that machine?" I said, "Well, it's part of my route." He goes, "You got more?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "How many?" I said, "I got 10. He goes, "What do you want for all those?" Well, they're making roughly 2,000 a month. Give me $6,000 and I'll call it even. Didn't even think about it. Wanted the locations. I said, good. I only paid like $50 a machine. But he bought the business.
Something in the expression on your face leads me to believe that he got the dirty end of the stick.
Yeah. Because he wouldn't refill the machines and went to a 60-40 split with the owner.
Oh, greed is always going to lose in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
In the long run.
Well, greed and stupidity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I mean,
stupidity.
if he's not refilling the machines and he's trying to go to a 60-40 split, that means there's no product in the machines to split.
This is true. This is true.
Well, he lost. He totally lost. I cleared a nice little hefty cash profit. And didn't have to work no more. But I know some people that have, like the 6 and 12 machines together boxes.
Oh, yeah, the entire bank of them.
Yeah. They make, when they go to the bank with the quarters, they would just take them in bags and put them up there, and then they would deposit it in the account.
Mm-hmm.
They would weigh the quarters.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean,
What
are you grinning about, Chris?
Comments.
What?
I saw Donna's comments. Sorry. She's in fine form tonight.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, wait a minute. Wrong one.
There should be one at the bottom of banner. That's the one.
Yeah, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just put that up there to keep reminding us.
Oh.
Well, I will say this: I thoroughly enjoyed our guest Thursday night.
Oh, that
Yes.
I don't know
Yeah,
how we're ever going to top that show.
I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I got to tune in for a little bit of it. It was awesome.
Yeah, he made a comment. He said he had the most fun. He says, of course, there towards the end, I wasn't sure if I could keep up with the topic changes. I replied back, "Don't feel bad. Neither do we."
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, it was.
You need to go back and watch that, Kiri.
Yeah, really. That was classic. That was awesome.
It was definitely a good time.
Yeah. I mean, it's not often that you get a suit in with us. I mean, of course, Les is a normal guy, but he's a suit for a major government organization.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Oh. Oh.
And Last Man Standing was pretty good after it too. We kept it rolling pretty well.
Well, I realized that we tried, but I was going, getting close to midnight. Gonna have to cut loose soon. Feel
Hi,
like
Sarah.
feel like it's. Oh yeah, hey Sarah. Good Lord. And it was fascinating. I mean, we went to town, figuratively speaking, and it was a little bit more risque than Stupid O'Clock, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
It was still within the rules.
Actually, to make that work, Rich, you need to do like this.
That's what I was trying, and just my timing just actually, yeah, I do have to start this way and go towards.
Or you could just reverse your camera so that everything is exactly the way you think it's supposed to go.
See, if Rich and I do this right, we can trade it off.
Let's do the
Do you
wave.
expect me to have that level of coordination and be sober?
Good point.
Is that a loaded question? Or is that a loaded questioner?
I think the answer to that is yes.
You're in the headlights again.
Decide which part.
John, I see you like that video I posted.
Yes.
Okay.
That thing rung like a bell, didn't it? Do they all do that, or is it just that?
Depends. It's just some do, some don't. I know there's a lot of those guns like that, strangely enough, they'll put a big rubber ring, looks like a tire kind of, but flatter, on the muzzle end, just to try and stop that. The 90 millimeter recoilless rifle was horrible about it. And you had that big rubber ring on the end of it. And what made that one really bad? It's right here on your shoulder.
Oh.
Huh?
One of my swish booms was gone.
You what?
Don't ask me. It's some random movie from daytime TV back in the 60s. Might have been Gomer Pyle or something. If I remember correctly, the gag was that he was given training on mortars, and one of them didn't fire. So later on,
misfire.
He figured it out. Went back to the place where the mortars were stored when they were not being in use, and kicked the damn thing, and it blew a hole in the side of the building. Because the mortar round was still in there, it just hadn't launched.
Well, I saw John a video, but I think it was the Russians dropping a mortar, and it misfired, and one of them walked up with a hammer and started pounding on the bottom of it. I'm going,
rubber mallet. Yeah. Depending on the size of the mortar, you have to use a mallet. I mean, they're just that heavy. But misfire procedures, there's three things that happen. One, first person to notice it yells misfire. Everybody else repeats it. Everybody except the gunner leaves. They head back about 100 meters or so, find them a safe spot. While this is going on, the gunner gets behind the gun and kicks the hell out of the barrel about 3 or 4 times. And sometimes that's just enough to knock the shell loose and get it to bounce on the firing pin. And then if that doesn't work, you wait 2 minutes. Everybody waits back there for 2 minutes in case it's cooking off. Because that sometimes happens. The powder doesn't burn in a huge blast. It just, there's a fire in the barrel, and particularly dangerous. So,
I would imagine so.
and you look for smoke, because if it's cooking off, you're going to see smoke coming out that thing like the end of a cigarette. Just, and then after 2 minutes, the gunner goes back, and with the back side of your finger, the fingernail side, you tap the barrel, starting from the top, work your way down. See if the barrel's
find
hot.
out where it's jammed.
No, you're trying to see if it's hot.
Oh,
You don't want to touch it with your fingers, or you lose fingerprints. Possibly. If it's not hot, you call your assistant gunner forward, and once he's in position, he puts his hands over the muzzle with the meaty part of the thumbs over the muzzle. The gunner unlocks the barrel, slowly lifts it out of the bipod until it's level, and then once you get it level, you tell your assistant gunner, okay, here we go. And you lift it up and you shake it out.
Oh, because it can't drop down to hit the striker.
Yeah, you don't want it to hit the firing pin again. So you lift it up, shake it out, and if it was just hung up or bad primer, you catch it and your assistant gunner inspects it, see what's wrong. If it was a dud, you take it down to the dud pit. But a lot of times, whatever caused it to hang up causes it to not come out of the barrel either. So if you can't shake it out, you disconnect it from the bipod and you take the whole barrel down to the dud pit.
Oh, yes.
And call EOD.
I would imagine the one thing you don't want to do is take a stick and try and get it to fall out. No.
But we had that happen one time, and I saw what happened right as the assistant gunner was getting ready to load the round in the muzzle. Mortar shells, you get your primer in the back, what we call the shotgun shell primer, and then all along the tail boom, there's several holes all the way around it. It looks kind of like a colander. So that when the firing pin hits the primer, it sets off a charge inside the tail assembly and flames come shooting out all those holes. Well, the old M374A2 round and other rounds like it had powder bags, had 9 of them in total. He had one big one wrapped around the center and then 8 others around it, and the max charge was charge 9. But if you didn't need to fire that far, you would take off charge bags and get less velocity and less elevation and less hang time of the round in the air, so it would get to the target faster and be less likely to be picked up on counter battery radar. Well, we were setting these for charge 4, and it had been a charge 3 round, and he had grabbed a charge bag and slipped it back on the pins to drop it as charge 4. He just did it in a hurry. And right as he was hanging it, I saw the charge slip off the pin, and it was hanging by one pin down past the tail fins. So when he hung it, the charge bag hung up in the tail fin and wouldn't let the thing go down. So we couldn't shake it out or anything. They call EOD. EOD goes down range of barrel, and he looks at it for a second. He's got this little mirror with a light on it. That's kind of cool. He's looking down the muzzle. Turns around, walks away. Walks back down the hill. There's a guard shack down there, vending machine out front. Goes over, buys a Coca-Cola. Comes walking back up there. Says, give me your firing pin wrench. Okay, so we go through the toolbox. We had the firing pin wrench for removing the firing pin. Hand it to him. He goes down, breaks that firing pin loose, lifts the barrel up, pours that Coca-Cola into the firing pin hole. And just real nice, slow, pours it in there. Takes firing pin, puts it back in there, screws it in a little bit, shakes the barrel. And sure enough, that mortar shell just came sliding around at the end of the muzzle, just from the CO2 pressure.
In extreme emergencies, he'd have bought a little packet of Mentos
Yeah, that's
and a Dr Pepper.
and the funny part was us trying to clean all that goddamn Coca-Cola out of the mortar tube.
Oh God, yeah.
And we, of course, we have a mortar shell now that's covered in Coca-Cola. Nice.
Oh, well, I'll tell you. When you said everybody falls back 100 meters after yelling misfire, that would be a great thing if, for a football team to hire a gunner. Because all you got to say when he starts his combine or whatever, misfire, boom. Because I guarantee you, he would be faster than anybody else ever on the field.
Well, it very rarely happens quickly. It usually cooks off, which takes time. So it's not terribly imperative. But
well, Joe, technically they have a position on special teams. The person that's the expert at tackling whoever's receiving the ball from a punt or a kickoff, is lots of times referred to as a gunner.
Yeah, that's all you'd have to say to me one time, misfire, misfire, boom, I'm gone. Which reminds me of, Joe, you'll get this. I used to work, with the city, and we worked stormwater, and occasionally there's a gas line that gets on the way, unmarked. And of course you got to call the fire department, the gas company, all that. Well, guys from the gas company are down in the hole. We're all, sitting, back a ways. All of a sudden, the two fire department guys come up out of the hole and start running for the truck. We ain't dumb. And they're going,
if they're running, there's damn good reason that I'd be following.
There's that army T-shirt that says,
if you see
EOD technician, if you see me running, try to keep up.
Yeah.
The whole time, all those rounds I fired when I was in the military, I've only ever seen 2 misfires. The one I just described, which was a kind of a freak thing. And then we actually had one that it went down, hit the firing pin, didn't go off. They yelled misfire. Everybody started to go up. Gunner went over to kick the barrel. And the first time he kicked the barrel, boom, there it went. So that was it's like, okay, we're done. Come back. Proceed.
Yes, really.
Well, you're lucky. There's only 2 times.
So here's one that you'll appreciate, Joe. Here in our little town, we were trying to get to one of the water mains, and there was somebody had decided to run fiber lines over the top of them. So the street/water department manager did her due diligence. She contacted pretty much every utility in the area, including E911, going, "Hey, who does this belong to? We need it moved so we can get to this main." "Oh, it's not ours. Check with, this group. She finally got fed up. She sent out an email to all of them and said, "Look, y'all need to tell me who this belongs to in the next half hour. I'm just cutting the damn thing." About 15 minutes later, a bunch of black SUVs started showing up. Apparently, it was a main trunk for a very important governmental unit up towards the Chicago area.
And they snuck the line in.
Mm-hmm. She looked at him. She goes, "Boys, I don't mind you having your lines running through our town, but at least put it underneath the existing utilities so that we can still access them."
Well, we one time hit a water main. It was probably a good 8-incher. It was pumping water.
Yeah.
And luckily, we had exposed the old storm drain. So, it was hole wasn't filling up. Water company came out, water company arrives and goes, they pull out their maps. They're going, that main's over there.
Oh, God. That's never good.
Remember, I don't know if I think it was I can't remember if it was Washington D.C. or New York. I think it was New York, but they were having a problem. The water quit running, so they went in trying to figure out why the water did quit. They figured clogged pipe, something like that.
Yeah.
We go in. Guy comes out. Did some phone calls for a minute. And they dug down, found it. So calls out. We figured out the problem. You've got very old pipes, and they need to be replaced. Cool. So when can the water be back up? That depends on the archaeologist.
The what?
The archaeologist. Turns out these were wooden pipes made from logs, coated in tar, installed by the Dutch back when it was still New Amsterdam.
They lasted that long?
Well, Joe, it took them a day and a half to find the valves to shut that water off.
John, that goes back to the old saying of they don't make it like they used to.
Yeah.
Sometimes the proper answer to that is thank God.
Right. But we've actually had a company in our area recently. Frontier is adding fiber lines to be able to do fiber home internet to the area, and they've had a contractor out here putting in the underground lines throughout New Chicago, Lake Station, and Hobart. Hobart's put a stop to the company just working in their town in general. I think they still owe us about $25,000. They drilled through a 4-inch main. Mind you, they drilled through this 4-inch main after we had already marked where everything was. And they just went, yeah, we're just going to go right through here anyway.
There's a telecom company that was laying fiber in the neighborhood of the house I go play Dungeons and Dragons at, technically Pathfinder. But anyways, they were forced to stop by the town because they kept hitting the gas main.
What town, just out of curiosity?
Valparaiso. Right
KGP
outside.
KGP is part of the contractor.
Right outside Molly's house.
Okay. Yeah, KGP has been the contractor doing all this stuff for Frontier, so probably the same group.
Frontier is the worst telecom company I have ever dealt with. I actually had free internet for a year from them. I would call them. I would explain my issue. I knew exactly what the issue is. Gee, I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
I would explain the 20 minutes of troubleshooting I did before calling them, including bouncing the router multiple times, rebooting every single computer in my house, and it was affecting not only wireless but wired computers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear.
And meanwhile, the person on the other line is like, "Okay, have you tried?" Yes, I just described. Did you not listen? But my router is bad. So, and they just sent me a new one to replace it, and it was still bad. So I'm like, still the issue. They refused to send out a new router to fix it, so I stopped paying the bill. And because I had an open ticket, they couldn't cancel my account. They finally fixed it so they can close my account.
Nice.
Oh.
Good night, Don.
Good
Have a
night,
good night,
Don.
Oh,
3 bomb threats in the last 2 weeks.
I'm reading this on Facebook. There's a group called Radiohead.
Yes.
And they were getting ready to do a concert and had the whole crowd out there. Everybody's in there. Guy comes out and he's playing this guitar solo type of thing. And I mean, they were just like, it's awesome new song. You know, they're all applauding. Oh, this is cool. You know, we get to hear new songs. And the roadie quit tuning the guitar and went backstage. The concert hadn't started yet.
That has happened more than once.
Yeah.
All he was doing was tuning the guitar, and they thought they hadn't brought the lights up.
Yeah.
So they just thought it was one of the guys from Radiohead introducing a new song. And
Nope.
Good luck, Carl.
We had a good one out here. The first time that they were laying
Okay, Don.
TV cable. I mean, never had it out here before.
Mhm.
No big deal. They had something out here that looked like a giant sewing machine. Basically, it would just stitch the cable in the ground. They were very careful not to hit any existing gas lines or water lines. Well, there aren't any water lines. Everybody out here has their own well. But somebody, evidently the stitching machine glitched, and they left about a foot and a half of this cable TV cable sticking up out of the ground near my power pole. And that was fine. The situation went on for a couple of months. I was out there mowing the ditch. I knew it was there. I could see it was there. I went around it. The county come through with the bush hogs and chopped that sucker in two.
Mm-hmm.
No, probably about 8 or 10 pieces.
Yeah, well, it was a big bush hog, but yeah, just lopped it off. You know, had two basically two bare wires sticking up out of the ground, and the foot and a half that was in between it was missing. And I never heard a peep from my neighbors because they all had satellite dishes. They didn't want cable TV.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the cable company wasted their money installing the damn thing, and never bothered to come back and splice it back together. So they must have went out of business before the actual damage was caused.
No telling.
Well,
Now I have a question for Rich and Joe. Isn't Frontier part of Charter?
Frontier broke off of from Verizon.
Yeah,
Okay.
at least in our area.
No,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Pioneer. I'm sorry.
Now here's one more for you, Joe Dog. Buddy of mine lives in a trailer park over in Portage, Indiana. How well do you think plastic water meters work in this area?
I wouldn't think they would work very well anywhere.
Yeah, I guess what they decided to install in a bunch of trailers that normally have their lines freeze anyway.
how much did that cost them?
Well, a couple months ago when we had that good deep freeze across the northern U.S., they, between the two trailer parks that company owns, they had over 70 of them burst.
Ouch.
They had to pull the maintenance people. They had more burst out the South Bend one. They actually had to pull the maintenance guys from the Portage location to go out to South Bend and help try and get water back to these people.
Let me guess, they maybe save $10,000 going to the plastic meters for material costs worth, and then probably ended up having to spend probably what $100,000 replacing everything at least.
More than likely.
Now, the water company put these in, or the trailer park did?
The trailer park did. Because the trailer park's going to start charging the lot owners for water. It used to be your water was just, they'd figure out, okay, the park itself uses 1,000,000 gallons in a year, divide that by however many trailers, and just kind of went with that as the average. And now they're wanting to charge them separate, so they put in their own meters onto each trailer and went with plastic.
And who did they call to repair all this?
They're maintenance guys that.
Oh, they're maintenance guys, not the water company.
No,
because
the water company has nothing to do with the meters. The water company's still just charging the trailer park for however much
comes through
water.
Their meter.
Yeah.
Because usually the water company owns the meter. Okay, I was about to go. I thought the water company did that, and I'm going, oh my God, are they?
It probably depends on which state and which community does it. It's probably different across the country.
So June 9th, we were out of the house that we were trying to purchase. In November, we received 3 different letters from the people that are replacing the water meters out there. And we keep replying back like, we don't live there anymore. You're actually mailing it to a different address than the house.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to the new owners.
Assuming, of course, that the new owners are not using your name to get water.
Well, the town kept sending us a bill, and I'm like, can you explain to us how we owe a couple $1,000s for usage past June 10th when my wife was in there signing that we were no longer in the house as of June 10th? Because all of our utilities were, except for gas. Gas was through NIPSCO, but our electricity, our water, that was through the town. And we're like, look back. My wife signed something on June 10th saying we were done. We might owe something because everything's a month behind. So tell us what we owe and we're good. So they're like, they just zeroed out the account. Everything's cool. So,
yeah.
But I'm like, I'm like, okay, you keep sending me a bill saying I owe you $1,000. I call every month saying we haven't lived there since June 9th. You keep telling me everything's zeroed out. Will you please stop sending me the bill?
That's almost as bad as AT&T calling us for when we switched away from AT&T to another company. AT&T says, "Oh, you broke contract. You owe us this much money." So I paid it. Well, this is about 5-6 years ago. I get one of those phone calls saying, "Hey, we're with AT&T. We need to talk to you about your bill." I'm going, "What bill?" "Your cell phone bill." I've not had AT&T for almost 20 years now. What is the issue? And they're going, "Well, you've got this past due." I'm going, "No, I'm not paying it. I do not owe it." But yeah, and then I come to find out that some company went in and just bought all of AT&T's dead accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jimmy.
And then they tried to, hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Mike.
And going around trying to bilk people out of the money off.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm reading something interesting.
What?
Russia State News has put out a story about how horrible a tank the M1 Abrams truly is.
Oh, really?
Okay. And they're comparing it to their tanks, and they're like, "Oh, M1 Abrams been around since the '80s. You know, it's like a 50-year-old design. It can't keep up with anything the Soviet Union's doing." I'm sitting here thinking, I would love to be the tank commander, or just part of the tank crew that drove the first M1 Abrams up Red Square. Just park it right in front of the Russian White House and shoot a hole in Putin's office. You know, it's been done before, but I'd love to see it done with an Abrams.
Well, the thing is, if they really believe that, they should ask the Republican Guard troops that had their top of the line tanks how they fared against the M1 Abrams A.
Yeah. You know, they got that new tank, the T-14 Armada, that's supposed to be the new Russian super tank.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it has never seen combat, and it has issues. And the biggest one is the entire crew sits in the hull of the tank. The turret on top is remote. Nobody's in it.
Oh boy.
It's guns, sensors, and ammo. It's got an auto-loading system, which is kind of a smart idea as far as taking damage. It's revolutionary compared to all the other Russian tanks, because they're usually sitting right on top of the ammo. So it's kind of a good idea on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem is you've got all this, sophisticated everything coming down out of this turret into the hull of the tank. Every tank I've ever seen, even the Abrams, they've got all this electronic stuff for thermal sights, aiming, antennas, command and control, just GPS, Blue Force tracker, all this sort of stuff for running the tank, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if that stuff goes down, you still got manual backups.
Yeah.
You can manually fire the gun. You can manually turn the turret and elevate the gun. You can manually fire, just everything. They still have old-fashioned optical sights.
Yeah.
Even with all the advanced thermal and,
the U.S. military is a firm believer in redundancy in many different ways.
Because the first lesson you ever learn in the military is Murphy's Law.
Yep.
If it can go wrong, it will, and at the worst possible moment.
And in the most spectacular way possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw the video that was attached to that news story that you had. It showed an M1 Abrams coming down this icy hill and goes to sliding into a snowbank. Then they showed their tank on flat ground running, hits a jump and fires the cannon in the air and lands. Running gun.
But they never show you if it hit anything, but yeah, they show it running gun.
Yeah, really.
Well, the funny thing is,
air support
armor that hung down over the tracks flopped up, and when it came down, about 3 of them stayed flopped up.
Those panels,
yeah,
are designed to come up for maintenance. So yeah, it's not unusual. The Abrams, if you don't lock the ones on the Abrams down, they do the same thing. So.
Yeah, but it kept on rolling. It had 3 of them flopped up. Okay, you're in battle, and those are flopped up.
Hey,
as long as nobody's shooting at you, you're probably all right. But chances of nobody shooting at you are small.
Especially, they're sitting there with the opticals and all that. They're going, oh, boom.
Now, in theory, again, the Soviet tanks are faster than the Abrams. That's the only advantage they've got. They've got 2 advantages, and they're both
run away.
They're faster because they're lighter and smaller.
Yeah,
they're smaller targets. Not that
But
that
that's
keeps us from
supposed to be their main
keeps us
battle
from
tank.
hitting them, but they're smaller targets.
Mm-hmm.
And can't the Abrams run like 45, 50 miles an hour?
I think that's
The
top speed.
depends on which model, but the M1A2 SEP or whatever the heck it is, supposedly tops out at 42.
Okay.
The earlier Abrams that didn't have quite as much armor and gear and stuff like that could almost, in theory, do 60 for commercials.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, get some of these Southern boys working on them motors. They can make them do that.
It's a jet engine. You can't,
Oh, they're not decent.
No, they're not. Well, it's a
Hybrid.
jet engine that runs on JP8, which is similar to diesel fuel, but not quite. They actually had to convert everything else in the U.S. military to run on JP8. But give you an example: the Humvees, the trucks, the Hemmets, LMT, all those can run on diesel too. I don't know if the Abrams can or not.
You give a redneck that and tell him to modify the engine, and it'll run on moonshine and probably qualify for the Daytona 500.
They had this truck up at Fort Knox, and it's called a Cut V, and it's a Chevy K5 Blazer, I think it is, that's been modified for military use. It instead of having the standard 350 cubic inch engine, they have a 350 cubic inch diesel engine. And it's got the military 24 volt system and lights and switches and all that sort of stuff. And they had a problem. They blew the diesel engine. Winter gets cold in Fort Knox. They blew the diesel engine. They couldn't get a replacement because they quit making Cut V's. So if there's any, they're still using them. They're still all over the National Guard. You go out to Arizona. If you're on the Southwest Border Mission in Arizona, you're driving a Cut V. They're that tough. But they wanted to keep this truck going, but they couldn't get a replacement. Just nobody would give them any support whatsoever. And this is the motor pool, and they're literally just across the hill from the third shop, and the third shop would not help them. Well, it turns out there's this armored personnel carrier that the Army used to have. They don't use them anymore. They use them as gate guards. And Fort Knox is covered up with all these gate guard vehicles because they used to test vehicles there. So they literally have vehicles that never entered Army service, but were built for testing. And they're all over Fort Knox. They went down, and right in front of the motor pool was I want to say it's an M59 armored personnel carrier, early Vietnam era. It's a little bigger than 113. And what was interesting about it was gasoline powered. Had two engines, two transmissions that fed forward to the differentials that ran the tracks. They are 500 cubic inch Cadillac engines. And there's two of them in every one of these things. Well, they're not on books anymore. Nobody's, they're not going to drive them or anything.
Yeah.
So one night, let's just say the motor pool acquired a 500 cubic inch Cadillac engine. And figured out a way. They basically went down to the local junkyard and pulled a bunch of K5 Blazer stuff out and converted it from military to civilian with a 500 cubic inch Cadillac engine in it.
I bet that thing hauled ass.
Oh, yes, it did. That was the if you absolutely had to get parts somewhere in a hurry, that was the truck they used.
Because it would get them there.
In style.
I remember when they were talking about over in Iraq, the Humvees weren't made for the IEDs,
Oh no,
so they had
flat
to.
bottomed. Yeah.
Yeah, they had ended up, doing the hillbilly armor, and they found out that Line-X was damn near bomb proof.
Yes. Bed liners, the
Yeah.
material they make bed liners for, are pretty good about soaking up shrapnel and explosive hits.
Mm-hmm.
They did a huge experiment with the military on soft vehicles of testing explosives on them after coating them with Line-X. And the biggest one they had these trucks that would, like, the mechanics have them with, it's a tool truck.
Mm-hmm.
And then the arms room had one that was very similar. They had all these trucks that basically had headquarters or shops inside of them. You don't normally see them because it's a glorified tool truck.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about lining those with Line-X to help protect them from IED blast and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, when that hillbilly armor first started up, one of the boys in some group, his dad was a Line-X dealer, and somehow he got a hold of his dad, and they pulled out something or pulled something off, and one day a container showed up with all the equipment to Line-X the Humvees.
The other one that we did, and it's kind of interesting, they make I'm trying to remember, I've got the national stock number written down around here somewhere. They make a Kevlar blanket. 1 inch thick Kevlar.
Whoa.
4 foot on one side, and I think it's 4x3, but I might be wrong about that. But we ordered a bunch of them and used to line vehicles with the floorboards of, like, the dump trucks and stuff like that, just in case. And those, I'm happy to say I never got the chance to test them.
And
Still, if I had to trust a piece of Kevlar 1 inch thick, that would definitely be a temptation right there.
Yes. The other, I told you I've driven dump trucks for the engineers before, and I always wanted to get that dump truck bed rhino lined. Seems like it make perfect sense to me, but because you're putting everything in the back of there, from troops to tools to cargo to gravel or whatever the hell else you got to move, dirt, whatever. Oh well.
Well, you're protecting whatever's back there because it's all valuable to a greater or lesser
And
degree.
those beds rusts. They paint them with the carton paint, which is kind of silly. And of course, anything you put back there scrapes the paint off, and then you get rusty metal, and then eventually you have to replace the bed because it's been sitting around in the rain.
Joe, did you ever do any dump truck duty?
We drove them for plow trucks. We had the dumps. Maintenance used them. I was on the construction side of NDOT, so the only time we ever really used them was during wintertime for snow and ice. Maintenance used them, though, for repairs and stuff throughout the season.
The one thing I hated was going to the rock quarry, and they go, need to get a load of 6x12. I'm going, oh, you know what that is? Riprap?
Oh, okay, riprap. I hadn't heard it called 6x12.
That's
we call it, I think either riprap or number 2 stone is generally Indiana's designation.
yeah, riprap. I mean, and I'd be sitting out at Vulcan Materials is the main quarry out here. And I would be, I call on the, you call on the CB, hey, over at the riprap pile, need a load of 6x12. Because there's 3 different sizes of riprap, believe it or not. And if one, I'd be listening, and if I hear one operator going, fuck, I wouldn't even be in the truck when he showed up.
Rock your truck that much, huh?
Lifts it as high as he. Now this is a single axle. Lifts it
Oh,
up
Jesus
high as
Christ.
he can and goes, thump. I've seen the front wheels come up off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's.
How often did you have to replace the leaf springs after he loaded your truck?
Well, he did get fired because one day he dropped about 8 of them on the cab and windshield of another truck.
How?
He missed.
Missed? How? He wasn't even lined up with the bed of the damn truck.
They don't call them headache boards for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He was in a pissy mood that day, I reckon. Just thank God it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Really. Now, John, if I ever get serious about building that canal boat and moving to England, how can I get hold of one of them Cadillac 500s? Because that would come in useful in certain situations.
Hey, Dan, Cadillac 500 and that, you get that bitch to plane.
Yeah, I think there was a James Bond movie where they did something like that.
Believe me, and some of the stuff that I have seen from some of the rivers in flood stage and boats just breaking loose from their moorings and shooting down the river with nobody on them. If I was on one, I'd certainly want the most horsepower I could possibly imagine is the power plant.
Hmm?
You all right?
Yeah. Yeah, his shoulder's just getting achy.
Okay.
Well,
Must be snow and rain coming in.
Allegedly.
allegedly.
No, I did not say your name, spy for Mr. Bezos. I said allegedly. All of a sudden, her blue ring just started like, nah, bitch, I did not say your name. No.
Yeah. Well, this is something I discovered. It's a cute one. Alexa, what was that?
Sorry, there is nothing to repeat.
Alexa, what was that?
Sorry, there is nothing to repeat.
Oh, you fucking bitch. Alexa, what's that?
That was not me. I would claim that one. I can taste it. Oh God, it's burning my eyes. Joe Dog, you need to go wipe. I think you can thanks. Save me. I'm dying in here.
And what you want to bet the damn thing learned that on its own? He didn't teach it that.
Only Joe Dog can teach Alexa some very interesting things.
I don't know where the closest one is to you, but the closest one I know of to me is right there.
Oh.
Tullahoma. Oh.
Yeah.
You know, they have some very shallow canals where the treads would actually come in handy at times.
Oh, I think Mike Jimmy enjoyed the Alexa cussing me out.
I have several. I don't remember what they're called anymore, but little things that I've programmed Alexa for. That if I say it, kick off the keyword, whatever, it'll talk in my youngest room, and it'll just start talking, Gen Z yeet speak and stuff like that about "Hey Crow, your mama's got the booty like pow pow pow," and just stuff to scar my child because I'm that much of an asshole.
You have a fire stick?
No.
If you have fire sticks, you can actually make it broadcast on the fire sticks too. Yeah, I now can say her name. Tell everybody, time to wake the fuck up. And he goes, okay, announcing, and it goes on all the TVs in the house.
One funny bit, shortly after we first got our first little spy for Mr. Bezos, I was watching the History Channel, and I was watching a documentary about one of the greatest Macedonian conquerors of history, and every time it said Alexander the Great, she kept keying up like it was talking to her. I'm like, they're saying Alexander, not.
Well, Alexa is designed to pick up, like you said, keywords, because there's some people. Can you imagine an Alexa in Louisiana?
Oh,
Boudreaux doesn't know that.
Hey, Samuel, tell me a joke.
I fly a lot, and I often get asked about my favorite airline. My response, I like them all, as long as there's no motherfucking snakes on the motherfucking plane.
oh, corrupting the minds of artificial intelligence.
Oh, yes.
I've thought about converting a Raspberry Pi into one of those Alexa-type devices using Minecraft AI. I will link it to the private chat here for you guys to have a look at.
Hey, Mike Jimmy liked that one.
There are a lot of actors and actresses out there right now that really need to do Alexa apps.
Oh yeah.
Dolly Parton.
No,
We're not sugar. We get right on that.
What caught my attention was, do you remember the Karate Kid Part 2? Do you remember the Japanese girl that Ralph Macchio's character was?
Yeah.
She just turned 57.
Wow.
That's 1 year older than me, sort of. Well, half a year anyway.
Have you not watched Cobra Kai yet?
No. I've heard plenty of good things about it.
Oh my goodness! You think she was beautiful then?
She's still a pretty woman. The thing is, she was on the pilot episode of Babylon 5. She was actually the second in command, and then they replaced her with Claudia Christian, which I love Ivanova, but I loved her in the pilot episode.
Oh, Lord.
So, okay, to Mike Jimmy's latest statement, the wife and I use Instacart because we're lazy and we really don't feel like spending 3 hours standing in the checkout line, not the shopping, just the checkout line for most of the grocery places. So we'd ordered groceries this last time, and sure enough, the lady that actually did our shopping for us this last time was named Jolene. So as soon as it popped up that your order is going to be prepared by blah blah blah, I just started singing it to Misty, and she was looking at me like I'm insane, and I'm pointing at the screen, and she was like, "Oh, okay."
Well, there is a meme photograph of Dolly Parton from Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. And it says, just what in the hell was Jolene bringing?
Seriously. Not that I'm going to reply to that, but seriously, the
Yeah.
mind boggles.
Well, you know, she came out and said who Jolene really was.
I missed that one.
Waitress at a restaurant they used to go to all the time.
Mm.
Of course, the only Jolene that I really like is Jolene Blaylock.
Yeah.
You guys, Rich just had this look of who?
Oh no,
She was the female Vulcan.
Rich ain't the only one.
no, she was the Vulcan on Enterprise with Scott Bakula as Captain Archer.
Oh, okay.
And she
No,
also did a stint on Stargate SG-1 as a Jafar warrior.
And Starship Troopers.
I will probably piss a lot of people off, but Enterprise is one of my favorite Star Trek series.
It is.
Ever.
I enjoyed it. I hated the fact that it got scuttled, but I enjoyed it all the way through.
Yeah, the ending. I mean, it gave us the Saint Elsewhere ending.
Yes.
The whole series was a fucking hologram, and Chef was Riker the whole time. And she's blonde-headed too.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
She
Just
never-
like Abby from NCIS.
Yeah.
She's blonde-headed.
Not the green room. Not the green room. Not the green room. Use your imagination. Oh.
John's going to get a beer, and I'm going down the hall.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
You're in charge, Dan.
Y'all are in trouble now.
I'm not worried.
Well,
no, neither am I. Seriously.
well, I'm already getting getting on thin ice, so I'm not all that worried.
I don't know exactly how it can follow up on any of those topics, and I don't have a fresh one on my mind. I'm hoping that my amateur plumbing is going to work when we actually fill the toilet tank and see whether or not any of the repairs I did leak, because it's been one of those lives. But apparently when I installed or when I attached the tank to the toilet last time, not only did I pop the head off of one of the screws that hold the tank to the bowl, but I broke one of the other ones in half in the middle of the rubber gasket. Now, it might not have been when I put it together, but it happened, and it had been slowly dripping water for about 2 years now. And here, no, it wasn't until my wife told me, no, it's the toilet doing that. I thought in my inebriated state, I was not practicing good aim. Serious, I'd turn the light on and go, oh dear, I am in trouble now. Let me clean this up before my wife sees it. No, it wasn't me. It was the tank of the toilet dripping water ever so slightly, just a little at a time, and it might take 2 days for it to make a puddle on the floor, but it was very patient and very determined to make a puddle. So I don't know. I applied like half a tube of silicone caulk when I put the bolts through and put the gaskets on and tightened everything up. And let's just say if it leaks now, it's really determined.
Yep.
Because there shouldn't be a single spot inside that tank that could actually have access to the outside air. And now Joe Dog is back. I'm going down the hall.
All right.
Cool.
Of course, I shouldn't have blown my nose before I went in there.
Almost blow out an O-ring when you did that, or what?
What?
Did you almost blow out a...
He's saying that he would rather be congested while that happened and then clear out afterwards.
Yeah.
Now,
He got a good whiff.
At one time, we only have one bathroom in the house, so sometimes we share space.
Mm-hmm.
One day I was sitting there, got my toilet paper. Wife was sitting there, making herself try to look pretty in the mirror. I go blow my nose, and she said, "Oh, that's nasty." I said, "Well, that's it happens." And I just held on to it. And then I went to wipe. She goes, "Oh, that's just gross." I said, "What's gross?" She said, "You blew your nose and wiped your ass with it." I go, "Well, at least I didn't do it the other way."
Oh,
True.
She gagged a couple times and walked out of the bathroom. She says, "I'm nasty." Yeah, Chris knows I'll say stuff around my wife that
It's a wonder you're still alive.
not just the stuff I post on Facebook. He's seen the stuff in real life.
Y'all have no idea. He is the master of pushing his luck. It's a wonder it is a wonder she has not murdered him.
Hush!
Good thing you just went to the bathroom there, Joe Dog. Or did you just go again?
Didn't even know the bitch was in here.
He's pretty.
Fucking cat. Let me get her out of here. I'll be back.
He's going to the bathroom a second time now.
Oh, yeah.
He's already gone to the bathroom. He's going to go clean up now.
Yeah. No, my wife has not only told me that I'll be armed and, facing her and awake and all that, but she's also told me she's too lazy to clean the blood off the blade to keep it from rusting and pitting. So I figure my odds are somewhat good at staying alive for a bit longer.
Donna, yeah, seriously, it is a wonder he is still alive.
Like that joke I make, our thoughts and prayers are going out to Donna. Nothing's wrong with her. She's just married to Joe.
Yeah. Well, you seen pictures of her where she nailed him with the pie, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, there were people who normally Joe noised to no end that were checking on Joe just to make sure he was okay. And his neck went back pretty far. We were still amazed it was attached to his spine.
What you don't know is that pie was not chocolate cream. It was concrete.
Great
And
stuff, foam.
it still didn't shut
It
him up.
probably would have been safer for Joe if it had been great stuff.
Oh, now I'm standing there in the bathroom and I hear y'all exclaim, and I'm going, one of these days I got to get one of those Google Glass things or whatever so I can take the picture with me as well as the audio, even though I got the microphone and my camera turned off.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, I can just imagine the video, the visual here. And then again, on the other hand, perhaps I shouldn't.
I will not name names to protect the innocent, but somebody said they were farting so much they looked around for Joe. Were looking around for Joe.
Oh dear.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm worried about the chili I got at the flea market today. The 575 flea market.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I had chili like that, I farted so much I gave myself diaper rash.
Hey, you know what my dinner was Friday at work?
Chili?
Chili brought home from HallowCon in a can.
Oh.
Mm.
You know how much cornbread I had to add to that stuff to make it edible? I mean, seriously.
From a can or
I don't remember what it came in. It's whatever. There's like
I think it was one of those big cans we had left over.
there's
Joe.
like 4 gallons left. I mean, seriously.
oh, it wasn't the plastic, wasn't the bag.
It wasn't plastic bags. It was one of the number 10 cans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've got enough barbecue sauce for the entire state of Texas for one meal. Anyway, good Lord.
No, we tried to take care of you.
Well, I know. This is just, Sunday. If y'all don't take this home, we gonna throw it away. And I'm going, that hasn't been opened yet. Okay, challenge accepted.
Oh, Dan, today, where I got the chili, Donna got the fish and chips.
Oh, okay.
They bread. I mean, they buy the fillets unbreaded.
Uh-huh.
They bread and cut their fries. And I said, "Do you have any malt vinegar?" And she goes, "No, I don't." You're the first person that asked, but I know I need to get it. And I said, "I don't. I recommend London Pub, but I don't think you can get it in the little packages. But yeah, if you get some malt vinegar, it won't go bad.
No, it won't.
Yeah,
not ever.
It won't go bad, and I will use about 8 to 12 packets on your fish and chips." And she goes, "Okay."
Yeah. Now that, as most everybody knows, except maybe some of the people watching, my wife is British. London Pub is the brand she prefers to buy over here in the U.S. because it is the closest to the real malt vinegar that she grew up with for her fish and chips.
And then the lady goes, "But I do have a good tartar sauce." I'm going,
or as we call it in Biloxi, tourist sauce.
In a pinch, if they've got a little bit of apple cider vinegar, it's almost as good as the malt vinegar. Almost.
No.
I did have the caveat in there. But it just if you ain't got what it takes for this particular meal, sometimes you got to improvise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have recently found out that the Duke's tartar sauce is pretty freaking good.
Most stuff by Duke's is pretty good.
Well, yeah, and I had got a certain store brand that I thought had been completely ruined before I ever unsealed the bottle. And
Oh my God!
it took us forever to get rid of that. Hey,
Hold on.
It's the
Go
ghost
on.
of Bob Marley.
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta find it. Here we go.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
It's the Skunk Rocker.
Oh, what an
Dude, it has
introduction
been
to get.
so long. Thank you for popping back in.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Good
missed
to see you,
I've
you.
Skunk.
been missed.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Yeah.
So who are you? What do you do? And
How the
how'd you
hell
get
did you
roped
get
into
up
doing
here?
this show?
I don't know. There was I saw a link on my Facebook page, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I clicked on it.
So,
Gotta be careful with those links.
Oh, Skunk, you got stalkers.
Right?
Hey,
You got a Russian bot, Skunk.
no. Donna Carleen is going, oh, Skunk is here.
Yep.
All she said was, "Hey." That's all she said.
Yes, but I know her very well.
Okay.
So what in town did you end up on?
I currently live over by Lee Highway in Bonnie Oaks.
Okay, all right. That's close enough.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it earlier today when I made a run to the store. I was like, I just realized that I'm like right there at City Cafe. So I can City Cafe whenever I want.
Hey.
Yeah, and you're close to McKay's.
If I could afford City Cafe.
Yeah.
Well,
you got City Cafe, McKay's, and then Waffle
Harley
House.
Davidson.
Yeah, Waffle House. Yeah, Harley Davidson. Like,
Yeah.
We'll just go up there and just blow.
Well,
Just go up there.
their coffee's all right, but don't try their Danish.
It was kind of funny the day I brought that up. There's a coffee shop nearby, and it's 2 stories. You see the look on John's face. That's the look that I made when I realized.
Percolator right there.
I'm driving past it. It's like the Oaks Coffee Shop or something like that. I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's 2 stories. Like, why is the coffee shop 2 stories? And they got these big glass windows where you can see there is seating upstairs. It's not like a big gigantic building and the upper part is no. There is a second floor to this coffee shop. And I'm like, why? Especially with where it's located, because
why not?
Hey, they just recently built a liquor store here in Athens. The building is 2 stories tall, and I can't wait till they expand to the upper floor that they don't have right now, because this thing is like a shopping mall inside. Oh, that's where I get my statesman, Chris.
So, Skunk, what's been new with you?
Well, nothing, just wrestling.
Are you a teacher now, or are you actually playing on Saturday nights?
No, I work on Mondays actually. So I've got like this Monday, I've got a match.
Okay, so he's doing Monday shows.
Yeah, the Monday shows are the student showcase shows. So I still work sound for regular TWE, and these shows, and like it's pretty awesome that like right off the bat, there's actually, that's it. That's the building.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's 2 stories. There is actually
like a lounge upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
As I was driving past, I could see there's tables and everything up there.
That's a serious coffee shop.
No kidding.
But no, it's actually Dan Wilson, Reverend Dan Wilson, the who's been working in professional wrestling for like 30, 40 years. But the guy's been in the business for a really long time. Even back in like the NWA days and stuff like that. He said to me, he said, "Kid, you got the first part done. Right? They love you out there. It don't matter now. You got your fans." And I've just been getting just a lot of guys who have been in the business for a long time have been showering me with compliments and, of course, also criticisms. But I've been getting a lot of compliments and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty much. I hate to say it because it sounds so unhumble, and that's anybody who knows me knows I'm not that guy. But yeah, I'm pretty much the star of the show. It's just weird to say. So yeah, it's.
So when are you going to turn heel?
That'll never happen. I will never turn. I will never turn my back on my fans ever.
Okay, Chris, we're going to have to be Chris, Kiri, John. We're going to have to be there Monday. He's flipping on us.
Okay.
But no, Monday I have me and Josh Locke are going to be in a tag team match against Casey Owens and Jake Murphy. Which has been kind of a little blood feud that's been going between me and Jake and Josh and Casey, and they kind of spilled into each other. Yeah, and so be getting I don't like the word revenge because they keep saying it's like, oh, he's going to try to get his revenge. No, I'm going to avenge because Jake Murphy.
You're not going to pull a shoot, are you?
Well, Jake Murphy choked me in the middle of the ring with a skunk pelt.
Oh,
so
that's
yeah.
A skunk?
A real skunk pelt?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Them fighting words.
Skunk, oh, yeah. I got a word for you. Okay. Reprisal. If you don't want to use revenge or vengeance or anything, reprisal.
No, like I said, it's not revenge, it's avenge. This poor guy is I'm gonna be doing it upright though. Have you guys ever seen that movie Gangs of New York?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we're doing.
You're gonna hit him with a meat cleaver?
Well, no, I'm gonna be doing it like the Dead Rabbits. I'm gonna go marching out there with the pelt on a staff.
Oh,
oh, it sounds like.
Nice.
Hey, Skunk. Bass Pro Shop smells skunk scent for hunters.
Say that again because he didn't have his headphones on.
Oh. Hey, Skunk. Bass Pro Shop sells skunk scent for hunters.
No.
Just douse that thing with skunk scent, smack him upside the head with it.
No.
When it's wet.
When it's wet, yeah.
No, man. This is
like smacking with a wet pancake.
No. First off, all joking and everything aside, and breaking kayfabe a little bit, that is actually my skunk pelt. Somebody gave that to me as a gift.
Oh.
Who's gonna? Don't awe that. That was the most disturbing gift I've ever gotten. I actually I told the guy when he gave it to me, I was like, this is like sending somebody a corpse as a present.
Okay. Now, if it had been a human skull, you'd have been impressed.
Well, if it had been a human skull, I wouldn't have cared because it's a human skull. But a skunk
it was a skunk.
It's a little, that hits a little close to home. I think they're cute and adorable. I don't want to see them dead.
Speaking of close,
was it a roadkill?
No, it was actually like a farmed, skinned. Yeah, this from a trapper.
Your new apartment is looking a bit sparse.
Yeah, I have not hung up
What
any of
have
my
you
artwork
got
or
in
anything.
mind, John?
Oh, I'm a nice person. I actually have something here at the house needs to be that needs to be rehomed. I am a nice person. God damn it, Dan.
What are
Let
you
me come over
talking
there and
about?
kick your ass.
You're terrifying me, first of all.
No. Okay,
No,
hang
I was
on
gonna
a
say
minute.
I haven't hung up like I've got a poster back there. I haven't even hung it up yet. There's a bunch
Oh
of
no.
stuff that I haven't hung. Mainly because I've been busy and stuff.
My brother left this here, and it needs to be rehomed.
I'm terrified now.
You're not the only one.
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix.
In a frame. I cannot tell
Apparently.
you how much he spent on this poster and then just left it here.
Well, wouldn't your brother want that back? Am I missing something?
I don't care.
Well, he's giving it he's allowing you to be a foster poster.
If he wanted it, he'd have driven down here and picked it up. Okay.
I could say for a fact that I have on more than one occasion have accidentally a something behind that I wanted to keep,
And like I said, it needs to be rehomed. I can't hang it up in here. I got too much crap up here already. And as much as I like Jimi Hendrix, it doesn't go with the motif, so to speak, geek stuff.
Well, had it been a Bob Dylan, he'd have loved to take it.
Bob Dylan or Arlo Guthrie or anything like that, just something that looks like me. So when I put it up on the wall, people would be like, "Oh, thank you." Bob Geldof.
Yeah, there is a Bob Geldof resemblance. I forgot about that.
I've gotten those are the three that I get the most are Arlo, Bob Dylan, and Bob Geldof.
Who was it that recently died that looked like you?
You're talking about David Crosby. He doesn't really look like me though.
No, it wasn't David Crosby.
He just recently died, though. I mean, he's the only guy that has hair and appearance like mine that you could be talking about.
Maybe when he was younger and had more hair. David Crosby, that is.
No, I thought you were talking about Skunk.
No, I was talking about Crosby.
Oh, well.
No, I mean, like I said, looking at the do you mean Jeff Beck?
Is that
might be?
Yeah, he died recently too.
Died recently too, yeah.
But
I don't think I really look like Jeff Beck either.
No.
Hey, guess what, guys?
It's time.
It's time.
Try that. Can't believe you guys are still using that stupid thing.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of like the guy that invented it. So.
No, I have.
The guy who invented it? You mean Liam Lynch? Liam Lynch and Matt Caracco is the guys that created Syphil and Ollie. I like them too.
Now I have one question for Skunk that I think he will get.
Uh-oh.
What do you call an Australian furry? A kang. Well.
And Skunk's now debating, where he went wrong in life on clicking on that link to come in here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can uncover your eyes now. He's gone. I booted him.
You didn't have to do that. No, I haven't heard that one before, but that's on par with some of the humor I have heard over the years. So there you go. But yeah.
Uh-oh.
Not me.
Misfire.
Oh, real quick before you end the show, I do have a great story about this apartment.
Oh,
What?
really?
You guys will get a kick out of this.
Somebody's not there.
I was trying to lay down and go to sleep, and suddenly there was a very loud pounding at my front door, like loud, like somebody's trying to break this door down. So I'm like, what the hell, you know? So I go over there like I'm about to just be like, hey, you've got the wrong address or whatever, go away, you know? I'm ready to fight somebody. I open up the door, and it's because we have security doors. So it's like if they got in, right? If they got this far to my door, they have some access to the property. So I'm thinking maybe it's somebody who's drunk and has the wrong, you know, whatever. Not a big deal, right? Open up the door, and it's a firefighter.
Oh shit!
And he's like, "Get your most important things. We have to evacuate the building." And I'm like, "The apartment's on fire? Like, what the hell?" So I come back in here. I grab my wrestling gear bag. I throw a few T-shirts into it. I close it up. I grab my laptop. I unplug it from the wall, and I just take the laptop. I don't even take the laptop case. I just take the laptop and the mouse, throw the mouse in my pocket, carrying the power cable, and I go to run out the door, right? And I get to the door, and right before I get to the door is a very soft knocking. Okay, so I open up the door. I've got all my stuff in my hands, and it's a different firefighter, and he goes, "False alarm. Don't worry about it. Everything is fine." And I'm like, "What do you mean everything is fine?" He goes, "Look, long story short, your neighbor, she was concerned that she had a gas leak because her oven was still hot when she turned it off. We don't have gas in this building."
Oh God.
She thought that her electric stove was gas.
Good night, everybody.
So yeah, I almost had to evacuate my apartment because of that. That was fun.
Oh, the electric.
Is she at least new also? Like, did she just recently move into you, or?
No, apparently she's been living here for a long time. She told me when I first moved in, she told me and my dad that she's lived here longer she's been the person who's lived here the longest. She was living here before the property management took over, and her contract with the property goes to the owner and not to the management company until this year, which then they had to because they changed the locks on the doors when I moved in. They changed the locks on the security doors, and she had to get a new security key from the property manager, and they were like, "We don't even know who you are." And she's like, "I've been living here since the very beginning, you know. Like, I know the actual owner of the property and not just the manager, you know, sort of thing." So I thought that was just really sweet. But she's old, you know, kind of a kooky old lady.
We got to say goodnight, everybody. We're running along.
Nice seeing you again, Skunk. You need to come on here more often.
Nice
Good
meeting you,
night,
Skunk.
Yeah. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night, everybody.
Everybody.
have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.